Yeah, whoa. What's going on with you? We've been doing this. And I have streamed with some Valorant. Mostly to test the performance. Valorant would be the one application that I would have the most trouble with frame rate. And so, trying to run Valorant while having this game run in the background was a test. And I think we actually got to a pretty good place, but man, I don't know if it was luck or a very long list of configurations that I have to manually do through the task manager to get this to work properly. But the results were pretty good. We were 144 frames per second or close. It was definitely over 90 frames a second in Valorant, and that's, well, I would now call it necessary, because now that I know I should be able to do that, I kind of insist on it. It's the only time I can actually play. And we also got decent performance out of OBS. That being the other thing that can fail pretty hard. And when OBS fails, seems to affect the performance in Valorant as well. Oddly enough. I mean, they're sharing resources, so it kind of makes sense, but... well, I guess to let you know what I'm doing behind the scenes right now is setting these configurations through the task manager to make sure that I could run Valorant again, right? And I don't really plan on being in Valorant long, but I do want to sort of prove the point that when I can make this happen, this is the idea, that it should be the game's running in the background, and you can see it as a layer, a full screen layer, 1080p in OBS. And so you see it on the screen, and of course, because you can do commands through chat, just like this command that we've had on the avatar for a while. You can do commands like, I guess you could list the queue, even though the queue is currently suspended. Yeah. So it's meant to take commands from chat. And more than that, it is the mechanism with which the multiplayer platform we're making use of here happens. Players can queue up, players can play. Matches are happening right now, actually. We have a matchmaking system that's already in effect. But just because, technically speaking, a match has started doesn't mean there's any game code. Spoiler alert, there isn't. But let's say I did this. Let's say I toggle the queue, and so the queue is open, and then somebody, like me, says, I want to be in the next match, or I want to be matched next, right? You're put into the queue, and so now if we list queue, I'm there, right? And somebody else could do the same thing. They could come in and say next match. Now that the queue is open, that'll work fine. And they would be second in the queue. The way the matchmaking system works is you're ready to match. And so I'd be player 1 in this case, they'd be player 2. Anyone else who's watching the stream and sees us playing or wants to be in on the queue, they say next match, and they are stacked in the queue as well. While we are still there, they're there while we play. We're still taking the top 2 spots in the queue, and they're next. And then somebody comes in next, and somebody comes in next. So that when our match is done, we're cleared out of the queue, and the next 2 people are matched. That mechanism's already there. There's stuff already there. In fact, I've got admin commands to, purge the queue, I think? Yeah, purge the queue. Totally. So now when I list the queue, it should be empty. Yeah. I could force end the game. I can pick individual people out of the queue, like if it was me. Right? I would list the queue. There I am. But I can kick me out of the queue. These are admin commands, meaning I'm the only one who can do it. I'm going to need to have this sort of power, because there's going to be times when things just happen and I need to get out or something. Anyway, so what we're talking about is a framework of systems, stuff you don't normally notice, but it's in Valorant, it's in every game. Just all these systems that need to be there just so players can get into the game. And then there's game code systems, right? So along those lines, that's exactly where I am here in the development. What you're seeing on the bottom of the screen right now is 2 Marauders, and I am going to call them Marauders until I can be convinced that this is bad, that it is a misspelling of the word Marauder, but I like the More Towers spelling, so I'm going to go with it. You're seeing 2 Marauders walking back and forth, just walking around and displaying the animations. Their whole purpose is to sit there and display animations, so it's not really making sense. They bump into each other, they overlap each other, they pass each other, and that, frankly, won't happen in the game. But we're testing the animations. We're testing how it looks. We're testing how it looks on screen while we do things like, check out my shop, or we, look at what's going on with the things that I might get, right? Looking at the battle pass or the career, right? Don't look at this. Well, if that looks okay, then we can move forward. If not, I'm going to make some changes. You see how this works? It's part of the design process. Now, pardon me while I stall. I'm literally just trying to get the Twitch app to behave. But I'll queue up anyway. The things I had to do to get Valorant running at speed are in place, so this should be okay. We're just going to continue to test anyway, because, well, Valorant just updated again. I don't know.
Match found.
What we're hoping is we still have good frame rates while we've got the game running. If it works on Valorant, it'll work on anything. Valorant is the biggest hog that I have on my whole machine. I can't think of another game that does this. I can't think of any other system I run, and I run some heavy things. This thing is such a crazy hog. So the fact that it kind of is running okay now that I've figured out the magic formula of technical support I need to perform to make this run, okay, great. Now let's push it, because I want to make sure that this game can run too. If that's the case, I'm cool. I'm cool to just start working on the game code. Having done the framework, having resolved whether or not this, the look of this game and the way it performs is okay, then I'm ready to work on the game code, you know? So pardon me while I focus on Valorant.
I'll find you.
In the test that didn't work so well, we'd start pegged at 144, see up in the corner, 144, and then it would slowly devolve. I'm seeing a periodic hit to my total frames. What's that about? Oops.
No chance. Decoy.
Charge your ults.
Stop it.
Reloading.
Not enough.
I want to pay attention to the test results, but of course Valorant's going to take my attention a little bit.
Watching here. Breaking that.
Die. Show me a target. Stage 2.
And in some of the successful tests, it did drop down a little bit, but it remained looking smooth. The only conclusion I could come to that was that it was not taxing the CPU. Anyway, these are the tests we did last time.
Bring them down.
And I'm going to look for the similar results this time that look okay.
Reloading.
Die.
Reloading.
I'll handle this. That's not ready. I'll return. I'm back.
10 seconds until stage 2.
I didn't have bullets. I'm always able to successfully distract the other team when I ult. My goal now is to try and you know, lots of kills.
You're done.
Ultimate orb spawning. Try again.
I'll pay attention to Valorant for a little bit and just periodically look at the frame rates, but I think it's pretty close to the good results we saw before, so...
The hunt begins.
New stage in 10.
Decoy.
Refreshing.
Final stage.
Lights out.
What is my team doing? You know, I'm gonna stick with whoever's around.
Mark one.
Stick with me, Fade.
Bring them down.
Time to jump. That's not ready. Fake turn. That's not ready.
Oops, this is not the gun I wanted.
Cutting through. Fake teleport.
Can I get rid of it? I don't want to. Yeah, I can drop it. Good. Wish I could do that in other ways.
Decoy.
Cutting their vision.
Ultimate orb spawning.
I'm curious if my clone triggers Vize's Smol.
Get out of my way! Pathetic.
My ult's ready. I'll handle this. That's not ready. I'll return. My portal broke. I'm back. Miss me?
Or die!
I advise if you want me to use my ghost, use my ghost. Wait, was that supposed to be a hard thing for me to do? I like my ghost.
Be in sight.
So, here's frame rates below 50. Frankly, it still feels smooth. Ish, smooth-ish, and now below 20. So I'm having a problem.
Drop in a smoke.
Might
We'll catch them. Where
as
are
well take a look.
Charge your ults.
Let's see what I can see. I'll duck out for a moment. So I'm not only looking at the task manager, I'm looking at OBS, which is a little slower, but it's not dropping as many frames. So it might be okay.
Neutralized. Decoy.
Sleep.
The hunt begins.
Cutting through.
That's 3.
Yeah, backed up to 144. So, mostly I think it was just that I looked at the task manager. But, well, there was one process I killed. I killed the Riot client, because you don't need it once you're in Valorant. Hey, I could finish the weekly missions. That's kind of good. Let's do that. While we are out, I am going to take another look. Oh yeah, there's the background process that should not run. See, one of the things that I found in maintaining high frame rates for Valorant, Microsoft will not be denied. It will have stuff that it wants to launch no matter what. And other processes, other services I can kill. But those in particular, the background processes, I can't. They will, however, calm down if I've killed them enough times. So, comfort really, but if I've run for a while, I did recently restart, so. And Valorant just updated and I had to restart that. So, I mean, for a number of reasons, this makes some sense, I guess. That I'm having some of the same old problems. Of course, it is the weekend. So, this is supposed to be the software development stream, or the game design streams.
Match found.
So, here you are looking at the game as it's meant to be used. You know? Game running at the bottom. And all I've got is the Marauders walking around playing some animations,
I'll fight anybody.
and the
I'll fight
buildings
everybody.
periodically being unbuilt and rebuilt. The tree really is never destroyed or even attacked, and it's never like spawned, it's just there the whole time. Likewise, so is the mine. The mine is there to just provide gold, although my original thoughts are that you can upgrade everything, including the tree, including the mines. The mine gives you more gold, you know. The tree is upgraded to be able to recruit new classes of characters. The flag, I've kind of gone back and forth on this. It is just the object that the other team is trying to get. If the other team can get to your flag, they can attack it and basically just win. There's no hit points really, it's just they touch the flag, right? And since then I've kind of thought, well, maybe you could upgrade the flag, and that actually means that there is some hit points on the flag, so it might take them a little while to get there. But I've gone back and forth because of this idea that the game is really just going to be one-dimensional. If there are opponents all the way up to your flag, that means they've already passed the tree. And, you know, forgive me for just sort of sticking on that layout that I've already put there. But,
Let's begin.
my frame rates went down to nothing. What's up with that? What's going on? And a neon just showed up in our spawn, and I'm gonna die. I just died. I have to get back in the game and get out of spawn right now. Okay. Yeah, why, what's slowing down? Why is this slow? Is there a Microsoft process? Doggone. Yeah. This only happens when I'm in a match, and that's the only time I can validly test anyway. So I can't do anything but sit here stupid in a match testing
Placing
this.
alarm bot. Placing
Looking
swarm
like
grenade.
all the other jokers that don't actually play. Okay, are we good? Yeah, we are. Okay.
Until stage change.
This one
Cutting
can
through.
actually
Decoy.
Straight for me.
Stage 2.
Got 3. Focusing.
Reloading. Reloading.
Time to jump.
Rampage.
Tackle up.
Idiot.
Ooh, look at that huge dip in frame rates. That was at 144 and it went down to 12. Wow. It's sitting there at less than 20.
Placing swarm grenade.
Okay. So, you know. Yeah, there's a number of things that I have to do to maintain high frame rates in Valorant, maintain performance in OBS. I'm not seeing any problems. Literally, I just open Task
Got
Manager
3.
and it goes back to 144, so I literally can't tell because clearly the blending process is just ducking out of sight when I come and look at it. And I go into a gunfight and then immediately drops down. This is the hell that I've been in for months. And I just fixed. I don't want to go backwards. I want to keep this fixed. It's back as the flip.
Placing swarm grenade. Reloading.
I'm trying to help you, but too much for my effort.
That's not bad.
Hi! Oh,
10 seconds until stage change.
Okay. Reyna's not testing software, I guarantee it.
Distraction.
I see.
The hunt begins.
enemy down. Get him.
Cutting through.
That's done. Ready.
Well, I lost track of where that teleporter went. So, frame rates are really low. Could it just be the server I'm on? Could it be just random circumstance that I'm dealing with? Maybe. But then I go into the task manager, come right back out. And does it come back up? Yeah, try it again. I don't see any process. Actually, I will search for this too. Nope. Oof. I can hear the choppy sounds of
Raise there.
poor frame rate.
One down.
Wow.
Breaking down.
Those are some terrible frame rates.
Time to jump.
I don't know how much power I have over this, but I'm gonna try.
My potter broke.
Grenade.
See, this is the hell that I've been in for a long time. Can I stream and play Valorant? Finally figured out some things, including setting Valorant to the highest priority called real time. Basically, demanding that it get all the resources it needs. My resources are not maxed out.
Deep. Destabilizing.
Reloading.
I can't play like this, that's for sure. That I know. Can't play at 10 frames a second. Just can't do it. Team's doing okay, but this is unplayable.
Killjoys on the rampage to go.
Show me a target.
Kills out.
Time to jump.
It's pretty bad. Look at that chart. It's really bad frame times.
Fire in the
I'm
hole.
not gonna get enough kills
Dominating.
or ult.
Reloading.
That was garbage. Frames kept going down to 30. That's not what I got last time I tested this, so I'm going to look a little closer at Task Manager, particularly the new app. I want to see if there's anything I can see. Because even the menus are choppy, I can hear it. So I'll let it sit here like this. We go back into the jungle. So what I'm really doing is, of course, looking at the task manager. I mean, I can show you. It's not terrible if I show you the task manager, right? That's not a bad thing, right? Surely not. So by ordering it by name, I'm getting, what was that? Okay. I'm getting the foreground applications first, and then the background applications second, and then they're ordered by name. And as you can see, I'm not maxing out my resources. In fact, that never happens. But the choppiness is a result of one of these. It's either CPU or GPU. On rare occasions, disk is necessary, but that's really rare. In this case, it makes some sense that Valorant is taking up... actually, no. 25% of my CPU while it's in the background is really odd. I swear, yesterday I looked at Valorant when it booted up, and this was in the single digits. So was this, and I was like shocked. I said, this is rare, something's wrong. This actually looks normal for Valorant. It's a hog. Yeah, my processors are doing pretty good. This uses up twice as much GPU. My new game uses twice as much GPU as the Avatar. Looks like. And that's okay. That's actually makes sense. This thing is full screen, 1080p. OBS Studio taking up 27% of the GPU. That makes sense too. It's streaming. When it's not, of course, it's small. So, what other processes might be running? Well, it's usually a Microsoft process. Those ones are necessary. The ones that I'm ignoring right now, these are necessary. They will come back if I try to remove them. And that's kind of it. I don't see any else. So, so that's kind of what I look at when I'm ducking out of Valorant to try and fix stuff. Oh, hold on. This is an example of a process that I can kill. It's a background process. In fact, searching for background is one way to find these. It is always okay to get rid of them. Input experience, in my experience, comes back automatically. But any background process, bro, here's another one. I don't want it, the work or home, dude, here's a whole bunch of Microsoft coming back. And this is what I mean. If I kill these often enough, they stop coming back in one session. If I restart the machine, they'll do it again, but for the most part, that is true. But like, yeah, it's always the Microsoft ones that I can't stop from popping up. So, okay. So that's the garbage that I need to deal with when I'm... You know what? While we're there, actually, let me show you the magic, actually. It makes more sense. Okay, check it out. Let's say you're having problems with frame rate dropping while you're in Valorant. Okay, here's Valorant, right? And I mentioned these are the foreground processes, these are the background ones, yeah? And typically, you'll also find the Riot client is here too. Well, I just flat out ended that process, end the task. Once I'm in Valorant, I don't need it. You know, it's convenient, but not necessary. In terms of staying lean, I can go ahead and do that. Well, that led me to find some other things that I can do in the task manager. Check this out. If I right-click on Valorant, one of the things I can do is go to details, which is really just, you know, this tab down here, where it is highlighting the foreground process of Valorant. So if I right-click here, this comes up, and I can set the priority of it. By default, it is normal, and Riot explained to me why that is. That makes no sense at all. I set this to real time. It says, are you sure you want to set it to real time? I say yes. And in fact, I go to the background process of Valorant and do the same thing. This means give it all the resources it could possibly want. Don't allow other applications to take resources from it. So suddenly Valorant runs at top speed. It's great. No joke. Likewise, in our efforts to make all these different things run, including OBS, I will do things like set my avatar to something below normal. I set OBS to above normal. By manually tweaking the priorities of these foreground and background processes, I'm getting better performance. That said, I'm a little disappointed that these things keep popping up. So anyway, okay. So if you want to make that happen in your Valorant experience, that's where I would go. That's what I do, and I think it's useful. Let's try some more. Let's try more Valorant. See what happens. It's testing again. I didn't call this stream a Valorant stream again because I'm actually talking about development design. But speaking of design,
match found.
The battle at the bottom of the screen is going to be a one-dimensional battle. The Marauders right now are just kind of running, overlapping each other and doing all that. That's not going to happen. In the game,
I'll fight anybody.
In the game,
everybody.
Any of your forces will be able to go up forward until they run into an opposing force. That could be another Marauder, or it could be a barricade, those pointed sharp logs, you see, or a tower. At that point, they can attack, and they will damage the barricade, they will attack the Marauder, they will damage the tower. So there's really only one point at which your forces can get to. The second of your forces to get to that point actually will stop just behind the first one. In other words, it's going to be one of your forces at a time attacking, yeah? Now here's where the towers and archers, wizards and priests, this is where they're going to have some advantage because you can use an engineer to make a barricade and make a tower. And so while the opposing forces are stuck at the barricade, your forces can go up to the barricade and attack them. Your archers could stand back from where the opposing forces are and lob arrows, you see. The healer can heal from a short distance. Wizards are going to be able to attack all the way back from the tree, actually. So there's going to be cases like archers in towers that aren't necessarily breaking the one dimension, but they are sort of outside of it, right? They're going to be able to be up in the tower, and when they are, they're protected. I mean, it's a tower. It makes sense, right? They're up in the tower. They're able to lob arrows from a higher vantage point. They're able to...
New stage in 10.
Dizzy's up. Dizzy has targets.
They're able to...
Stage 2.
be protected by the Marauders that attack the tower up until the tower is about to be destroyed. Then they'll exit the tower and run away. They can go back. Their point of their move target, the place that they want to go to when they're told to go somewhere, is going to be just ahead of the opposing force that's up front. So they have a space to launch arrows. So there's going to be some immediate code that I need to write for movement alone. And then I'm also going to do, obviously, the combat code and things like that. But special movement like the archer who goes up into the top of the tower, for example.
Seconds until stage change.
The blocking of opposing forces up at the barricade or...
Stage 3.
Cutting through.
So I plan to do the movement code first.
My ult's ready.
It's gonna tie into some of the commands that are already there, but they don't do
handle
much.
this.
Like, sorry, I'm fumbling with the keyboard. Like, right now you can do the command attack. And that doesn't seem like it does very much anymore. Of course, it actually doesn't.
New stage in 10.
It's going to tell all of your forces to advance to one point.
Final stage.
In fact, I'm starting to think that point is the opposing flag. And any opposing barricade or forces before them is where it stops. So it'll try to go all the way to the flag.
Someone's there.
I'm trying to talk and finding the keyboard
My
and
house
getting all this at the same time.
Dave, mate.
It's you and me.
I'm out of here.
Players have the commands attack, sends all your forces as far as they can go forward. Retreat,
Face your fear!
sends your forces back to your tree. The idea being the tree will heal, and you're basically telling your forces to come back
Go, go.
and take advantage of that.
Back
I
off.
say, how am I not hitting this joker?
That's not ready. Decoy. Anyone else?
Bad move. My ult's ready. Folded. Next.
Hey, my phone's dropped again.
My ult's ready. I'll
I'll
handle
try to
this.
play at low frame rate for a while.
Here we go.
How's it going?
That's not ready.
Somebody's there. Creature
Cutting through.
15 kills remaining.
Pretty low
back.
frame rate. Can't do much.
Looking for me? Decoy.
Mosh pit.
Yeah, I can't really play at 10 frames a second. It's a little too hard. You know, maybe this is Riot. It did just update, and it was awesome last time I did this. Like,
To go.
it only dipped to like 60. I don't know if it's like just the roll of the dice and what server you're on or what, but like, this is my client machine that's having a problem, so that doesn't seem likely. Instead, this seems like software, you know? playing at 10 frames a second. I can't win a gunfight to save my life at that point. It's just too crazy.
Creature killer said.
Time to jump.
So attack says go to this point, and the point moves up to the opposing tree or any blockage, like an opposing marauder or other character or a barricade or a tower. If you say retreat, it says my forces should go back to the tree and heal. And oh, that's cute, actually. Cool. I just wish this moved, but I guess it's okay. So the third command in terms of movement that the player has is hold. So this would be wherever the leading character in my forces is, that's where the point should be, and all of my forces should go up to that point and wait. This is going to be helpful when you have, say, archers on deck, but they're behind the leading forces, and they're getting creamed, or they just need archer support. Or if you need to have your forces hold while, say, the engineer is building a barricade or a tower, those take time, and you want to protect your engineer. They're pretty weak, etc., etc. So there's commands that I want to implement soon. Recruit would be another one. If you could recruit a new marauder, that would be like spawn a new marauder at a tree, at your tree, and then they're available to you. Yeah. So that just reinforces the idea that, yeah, there's another background process that should not be running. Oh, and here's Outlook. Thanks, Microsoft. You're awesome. So that means we could have had nice things. We could have had good frame rate. It's just that it wasn't going to happen this time, and that's all right. That's all right. So getting back on the train of, hey, this is design. This is the design stream. Let's just take a look at the game as it is right now. And, yeah, obviously my frame rates are much better now. Hey, Microsoft. So, so let's do that. This card that I'm showing on stream right now is meant to be like the bumper that I start and end the stream with. And I decided not to put the game on it like I'm doing here, right? But I could, just like I have it on like all the other ones. Here. So here's the game as it stands. If you're saying, you know, the sunset out here and wondering what's going on, well, Unity was and is a 3D game engine. We're just using a flat plane and just moving some layers forward or back, and otherwise it's a 2D game. So you can kind of ignore the whole viewport in that way. It's really just this. And when we output, this black is actually alpha or clear, and that's why it's layered the way it is. Oh, I'm just realizing now you're not going to be able to see showing you because the game is already on the screen. That's funny. That's hilarious. Well, here. That's what it's going to be. So, So let's, I guess, look at this in detail a little bit. I have a structure with what look like folders. Unity should have folders. I'll just say that. Instead, I made my own by making an object that just locks these things in their position. But it is organized by folders because organization is good. And so I do have what little code is in place is organized already. For example, these test characters are on their own layer in their own folder. So what is the character? It's a sprite. It's really just a square with the character material on it, and then I have code right now that is changing the animation frames in time, and there are different states of animation, like idle and walk. And then there is one script to make it move around and just sort of play different animations. This is the empty script that will be filled out. Well, it's one of more scripts that would be filled out on a character to do everything from combat to, the other special things that characters might do. But yeah, look at that pixel art. Pretty cool, huh? Well, it looks very different than what it started because I've got this character twice as big. Actually, more than that. So it's been reduced. This pixel art look actually comes from being very careful in doing, pixel by pixel art, but then I reduce it. And I actually kind of like the look. If I let this run now, even though I'm really zoomed in. Oh, I probably shouldn't do that because I'm already logged in with one, but you can see that he does idle, and as he does, he's like, these pixels change and shift and stuff, yeah? Well, that's a factor of, each of these frames was then reduced. So, so it's a little, it looks like I was very good at pixel art, and it's not. I mean, I did okay. But really, these frames are from a project that I did before. I didn't do this project. I thought about doing this project. I did this character, and that's about it. So I decided to make use of that. But then I reduced it to fit in this square. This is the size of the square, and it's also the size of the buildings that show up, and I think I mentioned last stream, these towers, I actually needed to engineer a tower in order to build this appropriately, because this is like real. If I show you the construction of the tower, I actually need to show you what it has inside, including these little slits to like let oil drip down, hot oil on, burning oil on marauders and stuff. How come an archer can be up here? Well, there's a floor that is actually there. These are the beams that hold up the floor. I mean, it's like a whole thing that makes it make sense. And if I was just plopping a tower on the ground, that would be one thing, but I actually show the construction of it. These sprites for construction of the tower were meant to do that. So, excuse me. While it is building, you see stages of this development. There, the timber for these beams are showing up, and then I show you where those beams get laid down and the capstones that make the place where the archers can shoot. Each of these buildings, this is just a barricade. So first there's like a log, and then there's a sharpened stick stuck in the ground, and then a large log is laid across, but we're seeing the edge of it. And then a very large sharpened stick here, so it's very imposing, and it's going to keep the marauders away. The flag needed to be able to raise up, and then wave. So here's a 4-frame cycle. I'm also going to do death animation and hit animation. Right now it's really just sort of a repeat of raising. But, and death is just, the flag is done. But it would be like marauders have come and knocked it so it actually fell down. That's what a death will look like for a flag. The mine doesn't really have any animation yet, but I imagine one of the upgrades you could do to the mine is reflected in different frames. So there's a torch out in front now, there's a torch in the inside, there's a cart in front of the mine with gold in it. These would indicate how far along, how much upgrade has been done to this mine. The tree, again, likewise has no animation in it right now, but upgrades could be there to show that it's more developed. And, you know, the more I think about where, how this is going to look when you play, the more I think about reflecting things like whose tree is this and which flag is this. So of course, the flag needs to have a color, and it's white on purpose. I'm going to replace the color. It's hard to see, but there is a very subtle shade. There's some tone shading on the flag as it waves and all this stuff. And that's there on purpose because as it unfurls and stuff, whatever color I replace will also have the tone on it, even though it's colored. So flags are going to have some color. You know, some player's going to choose a color. And I can replace that. So I'm going to have to do some shader code with a flag being added on as a separate layer. In other words, find the flag color and replace it with the color for the player. I'll need a shader to do that. No big deal. I've done that before. Excuse me, my stomach seems to be quite upset right now. So, this, I've been thinking, if that's true and there's a flag color, maybe all of the pieces should have some color, and that could be a small banner in front of the mine, and maybe a sash around the tree. Maybe the towers have a banner that hangs down in the color, that kind of a thing, so that you know, all along the way, it's super clear who is who, right? Been thinking about that, so I might do that. Otherwise, the basic code that I have right now, I will focus on these other animation scripts. Can do simple animation. In fact, I took this straight from Shuffle Wars because they just do the simple animation that we do there. But this state animation stuff is more for characters like this. If a character can idle, but then they can also attack, but then they can also be hit, but then they could also die, and maybe they go back to idle if they're hit. Well, these are animation states, and so I needed something that was going to handle it like that, including be able to define those states like this. So there is a spawn sequence of frames, and when I say please go into the spawn state, it'll play these frames. There's idle and those frames. There isn't too many frames, but walk has some frames. And so I can switch states. The attack animation has a lot of frames. And I can also define that this doesn't loop, for example, while the idle animation does. The walk animation does loop. Hit animation, it's got some frames, and it's not only not looping, but it's also not interruptible. So I need to know these things because, like, death doesn't loop, is not interruptible, meaning you can't just suddenly be hit again while you're dying, or you can't be hit again while you're being hit. You're not going to be able to switch to a different state if something is uninterruptible. So I defined those things. Cheer is just raising the sword, but it's fancy. So that's what you're seeing these characters play out now. And really, this is just to test out those frames and giving the appearance of the game and how it will look is all this is supposed to do. So no, they don't actually fight. No, they don't bump into each other. No, they don't do anything else. And this testing only stuff is me just trying to go through the animation. So this will be totally replaced. But there is some basic code here that does that. The state machine code, I do... it is interesting, I guess. It's not the coding stream, but I can say, please switch to a new state. I can ask questions like, are you in animation right now? You know, that's... I don't want this to be the code stream, so I'm just going to skip all that. But the entity or buildings follow the same, a lot of the same stuff, except that obviously they don't move. In this case, I am, again, testing by explicitly making it spawn over again, just so we can view the tower getting built, for example, or view the flag being raised again. But it's really just testing to see the look of it. And I've already made some adjustments, like I realized I needed to add some grass to some of the sprites and change some of the frames, especially the flag, just making it look better. So, these are the tests that I've been doing. After 2 weeks, this is where we are. Like, there's no game yet, but it kind of looks like it, right? The next steps, now that we have some animation to work with, I definitely want to have more than just the Marauder. Like I've mentioned before, I definitely want to have an engineer. This would be the character that can build things like the tower and the barricade. It can repair damage done to the tower or barricade, that kind of thing. Archer, of course, they launch ranged attacks, and they're the ones who can go up into the tower once it's built. Their range is going to be far enough that it makes sense. Like if their range isn't far enough, they're just going to be overrun anyway. And if it's too long, there's kind of no reason to do anything but archers. So it's going to have to be tuned. I am going to continue to call them priests until I decide that I need to call them healers. But priests are the healers. They can... So I didn't mean to actually make a script. They're going to be able to go out into the battlefield like all the other characters, except the wizard, and heal those that they're close to. Sort of like laying hands. And then the theory of the case is I can upgrade these characters, and a priest could upgrade to be really good at healing at a distance, like an area of effect. And then I also want wizards. So these would be progressively more expensive. Marauder's the cheapest at like, 1 gold piece or something like that. Engineers would be like 3. Archers are like 5. Priests are like 7. Wizards would be like 11. Gonna do prime numbers. That sounds like the right distribution, because I want you to have to save up for something powerful like a wizard. Wizard's just going to hang out at the tree and cast spells. The spells are going to be over the whole battlefield, and they're going to be pretty powerful, but it's going to take time for him to cast it. It's going to be cooldown after they cast the spell. One of the spells is going to be just guard the tree. It's a big shield. Something that, you know, it's like a backup in case the last tower's done. And by the way, yeah, there's space for 2 towers. There's space for 2 barricades. I haven't quite decided if I need to change that scheme, but these are 2 slots for towers. These are 2 slots for barricades. And I just want you to say build a barricade and not have to define where it is, because of course these are all just chat commands. So I want it to be really simple. Build tower, and that's it, right? And so it knows where to build it. I would say build the forward one first and the backup one second. Same with the barricades. So I don't need these other character frames yet, but they will be derived from the look of this guy. Absolutely. But until I have more code, I don't need it yet. I have the buildings, and I'm pretty confident that, you know, they're going to work the way they look is good, and I'm confident about that enough to move forward. So my next job is going to be code, specifically game code. So these things handle the individual characters and buildings. This code handles, for example, the match or the commands that we get from chat. This would be the start of the game code, although I think I need to divide some of the labor among more scripts just to keep organized. Right now, this doesn't do much of anything at all. There is some stats and option settings. It is technically making a match and able to go through it, but there is no win condition even, so it's like it's not even a game yet. That's okay. But it is going to be the focus. Now that I have some representation of characters, I could do their movement, their combat, and then I can be thinking about spawning at the tree, building the towers, managing the forces where they go, like attack and retreat and hold. I mean, technically there is one command that works. It's surrender. You can surrender now. I guess that's the only thing. But that's where we are. The fact that I have a whole bunch of other, like I've been saying, a metric ton of back-end code and framework done, you can't see it, so it's not very exciting, but there is a whole lot of debug input and output stuff that helps me manage the thing. And of course the Twitch interface, so Twitch chat can actually control the game even now, like we showed before. You have the ability to type the commands and do things. So I ask who's in the queue right now. It shows up, I think. I don't know. My Twitch app is well behind live, that's for sure. So so this is where we're at. I'm going to do more code. I believe I have a pretty good handle on the rough design, the notes of which are on Discord already for this game. There's a channel dedicated with those notes right up at the top. It includes a lot of the rules that would make this game run. Some of the details aren't in those notes, but I've been running across them and solving them as I go. You know, design is not required to know all the stuff ahead of time. That's not design. That's something else. Instead, I can just go forward with what I have, run into the questions that I run into, and then answer them and test them to see if they can be better. That's design. That's design. So, again, not the coding stream. I think I'm okay to just duck out again. And we'll look at more of the game. Pardon the pun. We'll look at more of the game later when it is more developed. What I'll probably just do is keep it running, and the new iteration of the game will be up and running. And, you know, when you can spawn a character, you'll be able to do that while I'm working on the next thing. Watching me do the art, I guess it's okay. Maybe we'll do some of that. It is quite tedious. In fact, all of it is tedious, of course. But that's the point. That's the point of me making this game. This game can be up and running, and chat can be entertaining themselves with a battle while I'm doing tedious stuff. That's what the whole point of this is. So I'm excited to get it done. I'm glad that it's this far along after 2 weeks. That's pretty good. It's actually not bad. So yeah. Did we play a little Valorant? Yeah. Was this a Valorant stream? No. If anything, this was another test about the performance, and I'm still reasonably confident that this is not a major hit to my system at all. It's just Valorant is a hob, so I'm okay. And so, we'll go ahead and end the stream, having done a good chunk, and I invite you to follow, like, retweet, subscribe, whatever, and show up on stream, because as we go forward, it's going to be, I'm going to need testers. I cannot test a 2-player game. I might need to code the AI player. By the way, one of the admin commands I have is toggle AI. This means if there is only one person queued up and they're waiting a certain amount of time, I think right now it's 20 seconds or something, then an AI player will join the queue and play against them, finishing the match. Of course, I don't have an AI player. We don't have a game yet, so it doesn't make sense yet. But, you know, think about it. If you want to help, I can use the help in playtesting, and reading through the notes and giving feedback would be fine. But mostly I just want people to enjoy the game. So I'm excited to get the game going. Did we do it? I think we did it. This has been a design stream, because I say so. It wasn't Valorant. It was just talking about this game. And we'll do more later. Have fun. Take care. Be good. Do well. Bye-bye.